What's up, everybody? I'm Scott.
I'm Jason.
And welcome to this week's long-distance version of Liquid Kernedge. Longer-distance version, I should say.
Yeah, I don't know what it is, man. They got me traveling all over the country now, it seems. I'm in Atlanta, Georgia today.
The
and,
ATL,
having a good time. Yeah.
What are you doing in Atlanta?
They had we work remotely. We talked about this in one of the episodes about working from home. And our boss decided that they really wanted us to try to get together and meet each other. So he flew us out to Atlanta. We have all 15 of his staff members in Atlanta meeting each other for the first time. It's been a lot of fun.
Oh, wow. So
it's been a good time.
So
I'm outside right now enjoying the weather, and of course there's a helicopter flying over the top of me. But other than that, I'm living the dream, buddy. Living the dream.
So all these meetings that you've been having, every time I try to text you, is this you actually at a bar, or are you actually in meetings? Or is it both?
No. This is actually a meeting. I will be going to a bar later, but this is a meeting. So Unfortunately, I'm in a meeting. I just got done with a long meeting, and so I'm ready to kind of unwind with a good Liquid Kernedge with my buddy Scott Kern, baby.
Man, I appreciate that. This always helps me lower the old blood pressure too. So,
how's work going for you this week?
It was good, man. We had our 15th annual Race for Hospice last week. We have a big time kids event this weekend. It's a busy time of year for us. We're just trying to wrap this up and get into June so everything dies down.
Oh, wow.
I've been trying to keep myself healthy. I went to the doctor last week, and he's asked me to give up alcohol for a month to check my blood panels. So,
oh, wow.
Yeah. And
wow.
I'll be honest, it's not as hard as I thought it was, but, man, I'm bored at night because I realized how much of a social thing it was for me, even just to go out and just have a beer and just bullshit with some random person at a bar. It's what I would do.
Yeah.
It feels so much weirder like going there and having a Coke and doing the same thing. It's a little bit creepier, I guess, because you're not intoxicated or slightly buzzed.
Yeah, when I got back from that cruise, I didn't do as much drinking as I thought I was going to do, and I didn't miss it. I mean, there was a couple nights where it felt good to kind of get a drink on, but for the most part, I didn't miss it.
Yeah, I
didn't miss it.
I've got a few things coming up that it'd be nice to have a drink, and I might have a cheat day in there somewhere. But
yeah.
I don't miss it for the most part. And I understand. At my advancing age, it's good to get everything figured out and in line. So I can do this for a month to see how it fixes things. I just hope it's not a long-term thing.
I don't know. When I did the stop drinking for the month, it didn't do anything to my numbers at all. So I told the doctor, I said, well, that must not be the problem then.
Yeah. And then you went home. And bought a 30-pack and a bottle of Crown.
Oh yeah, I got a little bit of Crown in me. It was good. So
tell us, what's the worst thing a doctor's ever told you? Tell us on the interwebs, on the Facebook, Google, on Twitter, all at Liquid Kernedge. Tell Tom what you think about this stuff too, all at Liquid_EP. That's our social media for this amazing show that we're building here today.
Well, I wanted to touch base on last week's show though for a second, if you don't mind.
Absolutely.
We did a great episode. About will the relationship last? How's the relationship going to work? Certain things that will doom a relationship from the start. And I received several comments from people saying that I was very, very stereotypical in terms of, if you have sex with someone on the first date, your marriage or your relationship's not going to last. And it got me thinking, one, yes, I was very stereotypical with some of my comments. But two, in today's world especially, we seem to stereotype a lot.
Yes.
In general.
Yes, we do.
In general, we stereotype a lot. And I wonder, I just kind of got to thinking, why do we do that? Why do we stereotype or, put out there that, if you looked a certain way, then you must be a bum. Or if you do a certain job, then you must not be a smart person.
I think it helps us justify things in our head. I think it helps us
explain that a little bit more.
I think in our minds, if we stereotype somebody, it helps us justify why certain things are the way they are. It's that little bit of self-reinsurance that we have, that we at least convince ourselves of why a situation is the way it is or why a person is the way they are.
But and see, this is where it comes back to, is that most of our stereotypes are usually very negative about someone.
Well, that's it, because like I said, it's trying to make yourself feel better about a situation.
Well, no, because justifying why you think a certain way is different than making me feel better about, like, for example, if you're driving behind someone and they have a handicap on their license plate, I immediately think, slow, old person, they don't drive very well.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Like, why do I think that? Why is that the first thing that comes to my head?
Because that's what's been stereotyped out there, and that's what you're trying to justify in your mind. What you're this person in front of you. You're processing this information.
So how many times do you think something needs to occur in your life to build a stereotype?
You mean creating your own stereotypes?
Yeah, creating your own stereotype.
I would say 2 or 3.
Okay.
You know, I think it varies for every person. But, you know, there's social stereotypes out there that we've heard for years that we just kind of fall into. And, you know, we probably just justify that just to make it easier to even handle that situation or those problems.
Yeah. So if I asked you, describe what you think a bingo player would look like. Right?
Uh-huh.
You know what I mean? Like, instantly, I just said that. Describe what you think a bingo player would look like.
I picture an older lady or, you know, with nothing better to do but to go to the VFW, and she has her daubers.
With the long cigarette.
With her long cigarette.
She has to use those filter things because, you know, that's hip.
And she's got a troll in front of her, one of those little troll dolls that she can play with the hair for good luck. And she's got different colored daubers for different games. And that's the stereotype I picture.
So I'm on the flight from Phoenix to Atlanta, and there's a guy in front of me in the row right in front of me, big burly guy, like one of those goatees. It's real long goatee, tattoos all over.
You assumed he was a biker.
Biker, right?
Yeah.
He is laughing his ass off watching Pitch Perfect 3.
Yeah.
On his little monitor.
See?
But you instantly think, oh, he's a badass biker. Oh, he's been in jail probably. Oh my God. And why do we instantly do that? Like, why do we instantly make a determination like I did last week? Oh, well, you had sex on the first date. Oh, your relationship will never last.
Because I'm telling you, it helps you justify in your head either actions or what you think about people. It's easier. And so it's easier to classify people. You don't have it makes things less invasive for you socially. If you just assume that a person looks one way because they look that way, act a certain way.
Okay. Yeah. Do you ever stereotype?
I think all the time.
Okay.
All the time.
Okay. And does it help? So what you're saying is that it helps us understand the world that we live in a more reasonable way. It's easier to look at the big burly guy with the goatee and all the tattoos and say, oh, he must be a biker versus he's just a guy and he might like Pitch Perfect 3.
Yeah, it doesn't help you understand the world, but I think it helps you justify the world in your own mind.
It makes it easier.
It makes you easier to comprehend. It makes it easier to say, well, that guy's a big biker. He's not somebody I'd want to associate with per se, so I'm going to leave him alone. Yeah. Whereas if you're sitting next to someone that we'll say had a business suit on, maybe a briefcase, and was reading the Arizona Republic sports section, you figure maybe I could talk to this guy because maybe we're in the same business world. I could talk to him about sports because he's got the sports page. You found that common bond. You found someone that's easier to approach in your mind. And in this case, the biker-looking guy might be the one you want to talk to because he's watching Pitch Perfect 3 having a ball. The other guy just might be some motherfucker going to meet his mistress. You know,
I'm telling you that's exactly what I thought. I said, oh man, this guy's pretty cool. He's watching Pitch Perfect. He's laughing. Yeah. He's giggling. You know, at one point they must have been singing a song and he was literally moving to the song.
Yeah. I think you could wrap this up with assumption is the mother of all fuck-ups.
Well, that's the truth. Like, I thought about this. Like, if you hear someone come up to you and talk with a southern drawl, do you have any stereotypes about what that person is?
They're an amazing cook.
Oh, that's okay. Yeah, that's good.
Yeah, they're an amazing cook. We'll leave it at that.
I know. That's exactly what I was going to say too. Same thing.
Yeah, so I understand people being a little upset at some stereotypes or thinking you're having some stereotypes, but I justify it as, you know, you're just in your mind, this is what you think. It doesn't necessarily express the thoughts or interest of myself or our executive producer, Tom. But those are your opinions, and you have that right to have those opinions.
My mom said something to me when I was seeing her last weekend or weekend before last that really stuck with me. She was obviously talking about how much she just does not like this current administration. She goes, I get so tired of people saying, well, all Californians are just liberal and gay.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, and I got to thinking there's another stereotype that makes it easier for us to just jump to the conclusion that, oh, you know, California people just hate Republicans, or, you know, people from Texas all they do is hate Democrats.
It's how people justify the way the world works. It's their own personal rose-shaded glasses, if you will.
But when you make decisions against someone based on that stereotype, that's the danger.
Yeah, that's when the world goes bad. That's when things go south.
Yeah. Like there's a big assumption right now that illegal aliens are just criminals and they need to get out of the United States. And yet I would venture to say that probably 99% of them are probably hardworking people that are just doing the things, but we make decisions based on those stereotypes. That's dangerous. That's how we get into trouble.
I agree.
You know, we make these stereotypes.
That's the difference in the line of thinking today. The world has been shifting, and we're now in a place where you can think one way or the other way. There's no in between. There's no gray area anymore. Either you think all immigrants, for example, should be here, they can be here, as long as they're working to get their citizenship, or get rid of them all. There's no in between. You know what I'm saying?
Well, yeah, there's an assumption that all are bad or all are good, and that's not true.
And you
either,
can't be somewhere in the middle. You have to pick a side, and that's the world we live in now. Is everyone's making you pick a side? It's either you're especially in the government, either you're a Republican or you're a Democrat, and God forbid you cross party lines and try to do something bipartisan. You vote with your party, or else you get ostracized, and that's what's being pushed in our world today.
Well, and the scary thing to me is that in a lot of ways, we hold on to our stereotypes so hard that even if we learn that the stereotype is false, which in most cases it is false, we're not willing to let those go.
Oh, I agree completely.
You know, we're not willing to let those go and say, okay, I'm going to, like, I don't even know if I could go through this world without having stereotypes turned on.
Yeah.
You know, like right now, like, and maybe that's a bad habit that I've gotten into, is to look at someone and immediately think, oh, like I've always hated, like, when you look at like a really beautiful person and it just automatically says, oh, they must be a bitch or they must be a jerk. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, why do we think that? Just because they're beautiful, that doesn't mean that they're necessarily a bad person.
Again,
now
it helps you justify why you're not going to go talk to that person or interact with that person.
Yeah. So I wanted to apologize out to the people from last week. Just because you had sex on your first date with someone, I guess I can let go to think that your relationship may not be successful. It may be very successful.
Let me ask you a question. Let me ask you a dickheaded question.
Okay.
These people that complained, did they have sex on the first date with their current spouse or partner?
Yes.
How long have they been married? Or with that person?
They've been married longer than 5 years.
Oh, well, okay. In that case, sometimes it works. Sometimes they beat the odds.
Well, and sometimes, Jason, don't be so stereotypical.
Well, but that doesn't mean you're wrong.
Don't just assume something just because of how it works. That everything has to fit into these nice, neat little assumptions of life.
Yeah. That
they don't need to be like that.
Yeah, I'm not saying you're wrong for what you said last week. Part of me disagrees, or part of me agrees with what you said, and I understand completely. The other part of me understands that maybe you're wrong. I mean, everyone has an equal chance of making it as long as they're willing to work at it. But if you're just thinking you're going to hit it and quit it, that's what happens.
Do you think there are any stereotypes that are just the majority of times it's true?
Probably. I mean, I'm
trying to think of something that, I'm trying to think of something that it's like the majority of times it's true. So if I'm wrong, then I'm wrong less times than I'm right.
Yeah.
I guess it all depends on how you act on that, though. Like, if I see a really scrawny guy who looks like he's all beat up and raggedy, I assume instantly that he must be on drugs. Right?
Yeah.
But if I purposefully, like, call the cops on him because I think he's on drugs, that's where it crosses the line to say, now I'm using a stereotype to make a judgment, which then that judgment I'm acting upon.
Mm-hmm.
That's maybe where I draw the line that, okay, stereotyping in and of itself is not necessarily a bad thing, but stereotyping and using a stereotype to judge someone and then make an action against them is where there's a problem.
Yeah, and I agree.
There was that story that was out there. Was it Yale, Harvard? There was a girl who was sleeping in the common area of their dorm, and she was a black girl, and 2 white students called the cops and thought she was a vagrant.
Oh, yeah, I did read about that, yeah.
So they made an assumption of someone, they passed a judgment, and then they made an action against that person. And I'm hearing it more and more. Well, I got scared. I was scared. I didn't know what was going on, so I called the cops. And
yeah,
it's like, whoa, calm down, people. Calm down a little bit.
I think if you're going to call the cops on someone like that, or you better damn well make sure what they're doing is wrong, or they're not where they're supposed to be, because that's an innocent girl, man, and that's a lawsuit waiting to happen. Well,
it's just like those 2 guys at the Starbucks. They got arrested by the police. Why? Because they were 2 black people sitting in a Starbucks, not ordering coffee, drinking their own water, and someone called the cops and they got arrested. You know what I mean? Like, I don't get that.
Yeah. That's people's own insecurities on that.
Yeah.
But
do you think we'll ever live in a world, though, where we won't have, judgments and that kind of stuff happening?
I think, and Ronald Reagan said it best way back when there's a force out there that will unite us all, a bigger, I don't want to say enemy, but a bigger thing that we'll have to unite as a race of people to combat. And I do believe aliens are out there, so I think when we make first contact, I think that will unite the world. Well, we've already made first contact, but once that becomes general public knowledge, that will unite the world. But I think...
Yeah, I hope so.
I think that was a very nice mea culpa on your part. Yeah, you fucked up. You made some mistakes. You assume, but you're not right, but you're not wrong. And
I will say this. I think I'm a little bit more cognizant that I'm stereotypical, and I certainly want to make sure that I keep that in mind. How about this? If I want to think that you're a jerk, I want you to prove to me you're a jerk by being a jerk.
Every time I talk to you, I prove that to you.
Not just look at you.
Every time I talk to you,
I don't want to look at... Yeah. No, not you. You're well, sometimes you are, but I know that going in.
Yeah, exactly. But with me, what you see is what you
you're
get.
One of those... No, you're one of those good-looking people that actually is mean, Yeah. Like, you're one of the good-looking people that fits the stereotype of being mean.
Oh, well, I appreciate that. Thank you.
I'm just kidding.
All right.
Oh, man.
All right, so I want to shift gears here, and I want to...
Yeah, well, I took 20 minutes or whatever off the topic just because I felt bad about last week. So my apologies to everyone. Scott, let's go in a different direction.
Right, if you've been on the internet for the last 24 hours, 48 hours, have you seen this recording that's going all over the internet? Does it say Yanni or Laurel? Have you seen it? Oh my God, this is the 2018 version of Is the Dress Blue or Is the Dress Gold? Do you remember that a few years back?
Oh gosh. Yes.
This is an audio recording, and this is starting fights everywhere.
Okay.
There's a recording that they posted on. Someone posted on Tuesday night, and it's just and all I hear is Laurel. All I hear is a man in a deep voice saying Laurel 3 times. Laurel. Okay. Laurel. And half the world hears Laurel, and the other half is hearing Yanni. And for the Yanni. And it's the most bizarre thing because they sound nothing alike, right?
Right, nothing alike.
The world is going nuts over because half the world hears Yanni, half the world hears Laurel, and then there's a small fraction of people that hear both. And I looked at it, the other night when it first came out. I was like, well, this is dumb. All I hear is Laurel. I don't see her. I can see it, Yanni. So I walked in the office this morning, and I started talking to Julia, a writer, and she shares an office with our friends Chris and Adam, and I said, "Hey,
right?
I saw you posted about this Laurel and Yanni thing. What do you hear?" She goes, "I hear Yanni, clear as day." And Adam,
Wow.
right next to the desk next to her, piped up and said, "I heard Yanni too." So Chris didn't know what it was yet, so he played it for me. He says, "I hear Laurel." So it split the office. We're hearing the same thing at the same time, and two of us are hearing Laurel, and two of us are hearing Yanni, and it was the most bizarre thing. And they said it's based on the pitches that you hear and the different frequencies of audio that your ears and your auditory senses pick up on. But if you haven't listened to this yet, I'm curious to hear what you hear, because
I'm gonna have to put it on next. Is there a way you can play it?
Yeah, if you just Google Yanni versus Laurel, I can't play it on here, but if you Google Yanni versus Laurel, let me see if I can. Maybe I can.
Or maybe you can. I'd like to hear it. Let's get it out there, because sometimes I'm wondering if it's because my life experiences, your life experiences, filter in what you hear, what you don't hear, and your judgments and your stereotypes and all the things that make up you. I wonder if that has anything to do with what you hear.
And that might really be it. That we might have inadvertently tied these two topics together.
Because that might, they say that what if my color of green for you is blue color?
Exactly. And I'll be honest.
We identify green the same way, but you see it as my blue and I see it as my green. They're different colors, but we call it the same thing.
Yeah. And I agree. And that's probably what it is. But I have the clip loaded up, and this thing went nuts on YouTube. This they downloaded.
Okay.
Millions and millions of people within hours. So hold on, let me play and see if it works.
Okay, I'm ready. Yeah.
At any rate, so go and check it out online, and I'm curious to hear what you say, because I tried to play it on here. We had to edit it out because it just didn't work for whatever reason.
Yes.
But it's weird how I'm hearing one thing very clear as day. If you told me that's Yanni, I'm saying you're fucking crazy, because all I hear is a very distinct Laurel, Laurel, Laurel. And you can't tell me that someone's hearing Yanni. And it makes me wonder, if the audio frequencies are that much different, what else are we missing in this world,
Well, I think, Scott, you were saying that you have an inner connection with that little girl. You know, the girl that is in your house?
Well, clarify that. For the people that haven't listened yet, yes, I've been told by different psychics, yes, I have an attachment that is a little girl.
I'm sorry. Yeah, you know that little girl you've been messing with?
Yeah.
You know that little girl?
Yeah, let's not say it like that, because that's wrong. And completely messed up on so many levels. No, it's, for those that, we go back to it. Going back to the ghost episode back in November, I told you that I had two different psychics tell me I have an attachment of a little girl to me, that's potentially a future daughter, family member, something like that. So that's what you mean when you say that. But no, I don't think that has anything to do with this.
Yeah, but still, isn't that strange though, that you have a perception of Laurel and other people have a perception of Yanni, and who's to say who's right or wrong? But someone else did. I wonder why that is though. I wonder why it's different for each person. Why does that do it that way?
Yeah, that's a good question. I don't know. It's the auditory.
Because auditory is one thing. I could see that. Auditory makes sense. But then I start thinking, well, yeah, but wait a minute. What if it is, maybe you've had more damage in your ears than other people. Maybe.
I blame the rap music.
Probably.
I blame the gangster rap music.
Exactly. See, there's always something going on. So I'm going to definitely try that. I'll definitely put my input in on next week's episode.
Yeah,
for sure.
And post it. If you've listened to it, what have you heard? Let us know on our Facebook, Twitter, or Instagram account, all at Liquid Kernedge. Did you hear Yanni or did you hear Laura? Or are you able to hear both? And if you are able to hear both, how the hell are you doing that? Because I can't figure that out to save my life.
My grandfather used to tell me a story that when he was talking about negotiating with business people, he held up a piece of paper. He held up a yellow piece of paper, like a yellow notepad. And he said, Jason, what color is this piece of paper? And I said, yellow. He said, well, I think it's brown. And I'm like, what? No, that's yellow. It's yellow. He goes, are you sure? Because I really look at it and I think it's brown. And I was like, Granddad, I don't know what you're talking about. It's yellow. It's as plain as the nose on your face. He turned the notepad around, and the back stock of the notepad was that brown cardboard. And he said, it's all from your perception. Wherever you look at, if you're looking at the same thing but from a different perspective, you're going to see different things. And this sounds exactly like that same thing. You're listening to it from your perspective, the life that you've led. If I listen to it and we're different, it doesn't mean that you're wrong or I'm wrong, but we think, well, you're crazy if you hear Yanni.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, and I'll be honest, man, I listened to a radio show on satellite TV, or satellite radio on the way back from my running around for work today, and they were talking about it on the show. And they were slowing it down using a higher bass and then a lower pitch, and really trying to like break it down to figure out how you could hear different things. And I shit you not, man. Every time they figured out some of them heard Yanni, someone heard Laurel on different frequencies, but all I could hear was Laurel.
That's insane.
I cannot.
Wow, that's insane.
And when you say the name Laurel, I think of some 27-year-old vegan who does Soul Cycle 3 times a week. I don't think of.
Well, when I think of Yanni, obviously,
I think of live at the Parthenon or whatever he did.
Yeah, live at the Parthenon on Christmas or whatever.
Yeah, exactly.
And let's be honest, though, Yanni is a musical genius. I want to go to all his concerts forever.
Well, let's not get crazy here.
Stephanie, that goes out to you, Stephanie. I know you love Yanni.
He's just a guy with a with a keyboard who happens to be Greek.
That's true.
So.
Oh, Scotty, man, now I'm gonna have to listen to that. So I'll have to get more information on it. But it's kind of weird how this episode kind of tied in together. Is that we have to live our life through our experiences. We have to live our life through our judgments and what we do, and maybe that's why everyone's life in some ways is so unique. Yeah. And in other ways, we do the same things. We're just doing it from a different perspective, and we can maybe find some common ground in that, in that area that, we all do it from a different perspective, but we all try to do the same thing.
That's very true. And,
wow,
that's deep.
That's friggin' deep.
That's deep, man.
Deep.
And I'm glad we talked about this today. I'm glad you tried to clear the air and have a mea culpa. Good for you. I don't feel bad about anything I said, but then again, I never do.
Well, yeah, but you're always right. See, I'm not always right.
No,
people want to punch me in the throat, and people want to, Tom wants to kick me off and call me a douche and stuff. So I get it, man. I get it.
Well,
I get it.
I don't feel bad for what I say because I go back to one of the Dave Chappelle specials on Netflix where he was talking about how he doesn't feel guilt for the things he says on stage. Goes, it's part of the entertainment factor. If you know what you're saying and you can feel like you can back up what you're saying to your own personal beliefs,
right?
You can stand behind it. So I don't feel bad about what I'm saying, and you shouldn't either. And if people are going to get on you about it, well, they can text me or shoot me a note and tell me I'm an idiot for thinking that you're not wrong. Because I don't think you're wrong. I didn't think you're wrong at all. I just needed to argue with you.
Well, and frankly, I don't know if I'm necessarily wrong, but I guess what it opened my eyes to is that I rely heavily on stereotypes and prejudgments to make a lot of the decisions that I come up with in life. And maybe I should be a little bit more cognizant of that going forward, that not everything is what it seems.
Yeah, and if my aunt had balls, she'd be my uncle too. So
that's true. That's very true.
Let's go with that.
If your aunt has balls and you have a picture, go to Facebook, go to Twitter, go to Instagram.
Hold on.
At Liquid Kernedge.
Liquid_EP. Show Tom a picture of your aunt's balls. Let's go with that.
Oh, Tom, I want to see how many.
Liquid_EP. Send Tom a picture of your aunt's balls. We're going to get ripped on that one. So anyway, next week's show, we're going to do the show that we polled you on last week. Do you want to hear Jason speak on life or death, or me talking on conspiracy theories? Conspiracy theories narrowly won, 56 to 44%, so it's probably 1 or 2 votes on the grand scheme of things. And I have been doing some research, and I'll be honest, man, I keep falling down these rabbit holes, and I can't wait to talk about them with everybody here.
It was a great first episode when we did the one when we did the conspiracies, Avril Lavigne and the Lizard People. It was one of our top 5 episodes of all time.
Oh, absolutely.
So I'm really looking forward to Avril Lavigne Part 2.
Yeah, revisiting Avril's grave.
That's right. That's right.
That's
right. I'm excited.
Checking out the reptilian world and the hollow earth. So we'll talk about that next week.
Sounds good.
All right, buddy.
I love it.
All right, well, have a safe trip back from Atlanta, buddy. And why don't you take us home?
All right. As always, you can find us at Liquid Kernedge on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. At Liquid_EP if you want to get some notes from Tom, get the free Star Trek Next Generation gift. That was Scott. I am Jason. And as always, if you never know quite what to say, just have yourself some Liquid Kernedge.